Hello, Cam. I'm trying this outside because the kids are making a ruckus inside. Wanted to get back to you on your research about software podcasts. But first, I was curious, what should we call this series? I know we've been kicking around the name Quantified Software, but does that capture the sense of moving from art to science that we want to talk about? The professionalization of the craft of software, moving into manufacturing? I don't really want quantified software to imply that we're nasal gazing into gadgetry or something, or just focusing on like Taylor's scientific management. But hopefully, it's a step past that, like into lean, which is a lot of the books I want to talk about today. Um, you talked about podcasts, so I see your podcasts. I subscribe to some of them. I really love the one about the rabbit hole, at least the name of it. I haven't listened yet. I also found that Clark Ching, the bottleneck guy, has a podcast, so check that out. He's starting to record some of his chapters of his books on there, and he's got an interview of Ellie Goldratt, which I started listening to this morning, the guy who started Theory of Constraints. So anyway, I see your podcast, and I raise you some books. These are books I haven't read for a while, but I think that they're extremely relevant to what we're talking about here. So top of my list would be Principles of Product Development Flow. We've talked about this before. My very favorite part of it is it has a calculation for what you should have for your batch size in software, literally down to like a formula. There's a lot of other good nuggets in there, weaving in insights from manufacturing into the product development process in software. It's not really focused on the technical tools of it, but it's really the theory, so hopefully should be a bit more timeless. Um, any books on lean from Womack and others, I really want to go back and look at them, but I got a lot out of them. And I think that people forget that the lean and lean startup was originally in this sense, I'm pretty sure. Um, One of the things that's important in lean is this idea of waste, muda. And what bigger waste than building something that people don't want? So that's like the whole fuzzy front end and the whole like deciding what to build thing, measuring value in software, which I think we're both interested in figuring out. The whole lean software movement, lean movement in manufacturing has brought in some words that aren't familiar to us in software development. We tend to call it by something else. The idea of the Kaizen, like going in and changing the manufacturing line, is a bit like refactoring a bit. That's not a perfect analogy because refactoring is when you go into code, not necessarily working with the whole pipeline of your software development system. We call it continuous delivery. They call it continuous flow. Pokeyoki is sort of like automated tests. It's like preventing mistakes from happening in the first place. Agile retros are kind of like the worker input you see in Lean. But anyway, I think there's a lot to dive into there. Similarly, I think the body of books around theory of constraints, whether you start with the goal, but probably mostly the critical chain project management books are probably the most relevant. And then Rolling Rocks Downhill and others like that start to apply that into the tech frameworks and I think are in the genre of what we're talking about here. Books like Phoenix Project, I know you're reading or have finished Unicorn Project. I think there are others, and we should keep looking. What else should what else should we be reading? I'm really curious what you and others think. There's a lot of books that are about software in general, but I feel like a much smaller set that are looking at software the way we are, how to take it professionally to the next level, not just how to program in any particular language or what it means to use the latest ML technique, how to stand up a server, or how to use a particular cloud platform, but what are the enduring principles of how to think about measuring, how to think about value, how to build the right KPIs, how to get people to work together in this sophisticated way to build software that is high quality quickly and deliver what customers want. How do you do that? What else should we be reading? That's it for now. Keep learning and talk to you soon.